Welcome to the Week 11 track guide here at Algarve International Circuit in Portimao. If you guys got to this part of the video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Moving on to the track conditions for this week. In both divisions, we'll be starting the racing right around 12 o'clock p.m. or noon. This week in the open division, we're looking at air temps right around 20 degrees Celsius or 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temps could range anywhere from 25 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius, depending on cloud cover. In the fixed division, it's going to be a little different this week. Air temps are going to be 25 degrees Celsius or 76 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temps could be a little bit higher, anywhere from 30 to 43 degrees Celsius. And there'll be a 0% chance of rain this week in the fixed division. Moving on to the Sugar Hill tips of the week. Tip 1 will be just try to make good use of the elevation changes around the track. All the ups and downs, you'll be able to push the car a little bit harder than expected around some of the corners. Tip 2, just be extra careful on lap 1 on cold tires in turn 4. It's very easy to spin the car as you approach the crest of the hill and the car lightens up a little bit. Tip 3, your best passing opportunities is going to be going into turn 1 and turn 5, but just be careful about braking too late going into turn 5. The braking zone is on the downhill section. It's very easy to just outbrake yourself and overshoot the braking. Alright, let's get on with this track guide portion of the video. Moving down to turn 1, you want to start braking about 80%, 80-85%, just before or just at the 100 meter board on the left hand side. You can technically use the red as well as the red and white curb on the left hand side to put your whole car over there. I find it just really upset the car, and it's really hard to get to the apex of turn 1. The apex here at turn 1 is this yellow sausage curb. Make sure not to hit that, and then start your throttle application just at it or just after it. Letting the car rotate out to the red and white curb on the left hand side. The off track here is when your right hand side tires just leave the red and white curb and go onto the red, so you can definitely use a lot there. Keep it held wide open for turn 2 and take a nice apex right next to the yellow sausage curb, and then open up for turn 3 for this hairpin. For turn 3, you want to start braking just before this white line on the left hand side, about 2 or 3 car lengths before it, about 80-85%. And as the speed comes down and you start getting into the hairpin, you want to get off the brakes fairly quick, or you'll end up locking up the rears and struggling through this corner. Just after the apex, start getting on the throttle. Be careful about getting on it too hard, just because the track does get a little off camber here. and you might lose the rears here as well. You want to keep it to the right hand side and open up for turn 4 as much as possible. If you're able to open up this corner a little bit more than I did here, then you could probably take a little bit less of a lift, if not no lift, depending on track temperatures and the available grip. But ideally here, right at the apex, if you have a little less grip, like I do here on these track temps, I had to do like about 40 or 30% lift. But ideally, I mean, you're holding this wide open and letting this run all the way out to the curb like I do here. The off track here is when your left hand side tires leave the blue, or not the blue, the red and white, rumble strip on the left, the right hand side. Moving down to turn 5. You want to start braking just after that white marker on the right hand side. About 85% to 90%. And you want to make sure that you just don't carry too much brakes going into this hairpin. After the apex, you just want to get on the throttle nice and easy and let the car rotate out, making sure to keep the left hand side tires on the red and white rumble strip. For turn 6 here, you're holding it wide open and keeping it to the left hand side and trying to open it up for turn 8 as much as possible. It's actually turn 7. For turn 7, you want to start your turn in just after the grass ends on the left hand side. You want to give it a small little 20% jab of brakes while keeping in 4th gear, making sure to hit a nice little apex there, and then getting back on the throttle just before getting back on the brakes for turn 8. You get on the brakes before that white line on the left hand side, straighten up the car and get on them a little bit harder, about up to 50% brake, and downshift all the way down to 1st gear. Want to make sure to get a nice apex here at the yellow sausage curb, and then start getting on the throttle. You can get on the throttle kind of aggressively, but you got to be careful, especially as the car reaches the not the top of the hill, but as you go up, you're going to get a little bit less grip. And you want to just make sure that you don't run wide here and get an off track. I find that this is probably the easiest off track to get at this track, just because it's you want to keep your right hand side tires on the red and white curb. Turn 9 here is flat out. As you approach the top of turn 9 and going into turn 10, you want to start applying about 50% brake and slowly downshifting to 1st gear. You want to open up really and just carry a lot of momentum into turn 11, making sure to take a nice apex at the yellow sausage curb and getting on the throttle and letting the car run wide. You can you put the whole car just past the the rumble strips. You just want to make sure to keep your right hand side tires on those rumble strips. I probably pinched the car a little bit, lost a couple tenths just by sliding the rears. Turn 12 here, you want to just hold it wide open and open up for turn 13. Turn 13 here, you want to start braking a little early, just because you're carrying a lot of speed from the downhill section to the uphill section. It's probably 3 car lengths before the white line on the right hand side. You want to start braking about 70-80%, making sure to hit an apex just before the yellow sausage curb on the left hand side. One thing I did here was probably get on throttle a little too aggressively, and I had to end up chasing the steering, and probably lost about a tenth here. But if you just get on a little bit more gently, you're able to, carry a little bit more speed out of that corner and then down to turn 14. Turn 14 here, you want to start braking just after the red starts on the left-hand side. And your throttle up point, we'll move to cockpit view. Your throttle up point here is when you start to see this white tarmac just in front of you. That's usually a good point to start getting back on the throttle pretty aggressively and letting the car run all the way out to the curb. And really, you just want to get on the throttle as hard as you can, let the car run out, make sure to use that curb on the left-hand side, and then hold it wide open all the way past turn 15 and all the way down to the front stretch. Pit entry here is right after turn 15. You want to start braking just as you approach the pit commitment line. Make sure to use that hill to your advantage and get down to the 60 km/h speed limit. For pit exit, this will spit you out directly on the racing line, so you just want to be mindful of your relative and just make sure that there's no one coming up on you. Ideally, you should hit the brunt of the GT3 traffic right around lap 11, and the GTP traffic should catch you right around lap 14 or so. Pit window should open up as early as lap 6 and will close on lap 22. Optimal pit window to avoid traffic will probably be right around lap 10 or 11. And you'll need 17.5 liters of fuel or 4.62 gallons. If you guys got to this part of the video, really appreciate you watching to the end, and I'll see you guys all next week at Spa.